Hello and welcome to Zevi's Garage. Today I'm going to be showing you how to check your oil level on your second gen Mini Cooper. So, second gen applies to any base, S, JCW, or anything roughly from 2007 through 2013-ish. Second gen 2016, yada yada. Anything that's not an R53, but that's below an F56, which includes R55 through R61. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drive the car, we're going to warm it up. You want to make sure the car is fully warmed up. You're going to drive it around. I usually do 10 to 15 minutes roughly. Sometimes realistically it ends up doing less, but the owner's manual claims 6 miles or 10 kilometers, and then that's when you want to check. Once again, for me, I do 10 to 15 minutes driving. As long as the engine's warmed up, the oil's had a good amount of opportunity to get through the engine and get where it needs to be, then we can go check the oil level. If we look right here, you can see, same thing I said. That's what manual wants. You switch the engine off, you're gonna wait for 5 minutes and you're gonna pull the dipstick out, wipe it off with a cloth, reinsert, pull it out again, and you should have a reading. So sometimes reading this can be confusing, so that's why I'm gonna show you what to do. Once your engine has sat off for 5 minutes, then you'll pop the hood and you'll check the oil, and I'll show you how to do that. So if we pop our hood latch, pop our hood, and then now what it wants us to do is remove the dipstick. So we're going to remove the dipstick. We are going to wipe the dipstick. I always like starting from down here because there's sometimes oil residue that's traveled upwards up the dipstick. Give it a nice wipe. Make sure it's nice and clean. Careful because the dipstick can be hot. If you look now, you can see the dipstick is dry. Let's keep that man good. You can see the dipstick's completely dry. That's good. You want to make sure it's dry. You always want to get used to visualizing how it looks dry so you don't get confused when you go for your actual reading. So we're going to insert the dipstick all the way down. So we're going to pull the dipstick and you're going to go for your reading. You can see here there's little splotches of oil going up the dipstick. You can see there's a little bit right here, but that does not mean that that's your oil level, even though you see oil there. You can see along here that it's very dry looking. And turn over our dipstick, you can see it's pretty dry there. A tiny bit of oil residue there. Pretty dry. Wetter down here by the bottom half. Even in the bottom half, it still has a lot of dry on there, which means I am too low on oil. Between the bottom dot here and the top dot up here is a quart of oil. And so I'm over a quart of oil low right now. It's hard to say exactly where it is because it is below where it's supposed to be. There's a good amount of oil till the bottom marker here, but what this means is that I do need to add more oil. Ideally, your oil level will be between here and here. What you can do is you can notch with an angle grinder or a Dremel slots into this stick here, and it'll make it easier to read. Most people, they go for an aftermarket dipstick, but you don't need that. Ultimately, once you learn how to read the stock dipstick just fine, you're not going to have any issues, and you won't need a silly aftermarket dipstick. You don't need to spend however much it is for a popular brand that people like. You don't need it. Trust me, you don't. You can read this. People might, once again, you might think there's oil in this, there's not. It's a false reading. So now, I'm going to reinsert this. I'm going to go drive the car home, get some fresh oil. I'm going to put the dipstick back in. Make sure it's all the way seated. Make sure the dipstick's clean. Make sure there's no dirt in case you've taken it out and put it on something. Make sure it's all nice and clean. I'm going to show y'all an example of one that has a proper oil level. So here's another example of how to check your oil level. Here we're using my 2012 Mini Countryman, and same thing. We're going to pull the dipstick. You're going to wipe it. Sure, it's all nice and clean. And as mentioned in the last clip, If you look carefully here, hold this for me. You can see that the dipstick is slotted, and this helps you read the oil level because the oil will retain within the slots. Pretty handy little trick. You just cut little slots in. You don't want to be too aggressive with it. So you're gonna stick it in, pull it all the way out, and if you're struggling to still read it, you do this trick where you we'll use this. First of all, you can see where the oil level is. It's about at the full mark here. Oil traces. Yep, this is this. Let me put it under the light. There you go. Oil traces run all the way up the dipstick till about right here. That's the oil level up here. You can see there's no dry spots along the way. But if for some reason you're still struggling to read your oil level, what you can do, you're very smooth and gentle with this, but you can grab it. Okay, we're not grabbing it like that. You can see already, you're getting a basic idea of what I'm trying to show off. You can do this, and you can rub it. You can spin it on the paper towel. And then you can see pretty consistent oil line all the way up. I'll do it one more time for demonstration. Stick it all the way in, all the way back out. Once again, you can see the oil level all the way up again, to spec as we'd say. Do it this direction this time. This is the way I normally do it, where I squeeze it like this. You don't want to shift the stick up and down because it's going to mess with your results. So give it a nice little spin if you'd like. Open it. You can see just below the full mark. You can kind of see the shape of the stick there, like so. Just below the full mark, which is, as we know, where it is, because there's no triangular bit here. So that is how you check the oil level accurately on the second gen minis. Here's another oil dipstick reference. You can see pretty plainly we're below the halfway mark, closer to a third, at the bottom of the dipstick there. You can kind of see like this, where the liquid point is. So up here is all wet, the other half is dry. You know, this car needs a bit of oil, about 5/8 of a quart. Hopefully this video helps you learn how to read the oil level on your second gen Mini Cooper. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, goodbye.